In May of 1940, General George Marshall gave an impromptu 3-minute speech to Franklin Roosevelt that convinced him to increase the military budget and helped to prepare America for World War II. Now, if he could give such a forceful and effective speech on such a complicated topic in 3 minutes, surely you can give a great business proposal in 4. I recently did a video about the 4-minute men who helped to mobilize public opinion during World War I, and in this video I want to bring it down to a practical day-to-day business level. I want to challenge you to take your next important business proposal and craft it into a 4-minute presentation. It's not going to be easy, but if you can do it, you and your audience are going to benefit greatly from increased clarity, creativity, and credibility. Let's take those one by one. First of all, brevity drives clarity. What it does is it forces you to skim off the crud and the clutter that hide your meaning. And then the discipline of fitting everything into such a tight package forces you to think very carefully about every word and every sentence to be sure that it adds to your meaning and adds value to your audience. It's also going to force you to structure your ideas very clearly and expose the bare bones structure so that your audience actually gets a very clear roadmap as the neatest and easiest way to get from point A to point B. Second, and this is kind of a paradox, but constraints actually drive creativity. It's no accident that some of the most sublime words in the English language have been produced under the severe constraints of poetry, of meter, and of rhyme. And it's also well known in software circles that coders with hardware constraints tend to produce the cleanest and the most elegant code. And as Inc. magazine said, with constraints, you dedicate your mental energy to acting more resourcefully. When challenged, you figure out new ways to get better. And here's how it works. What it does is it forces you to go deeper into your mind to where the good stuff is. Our brains are naturally lazy, so when we think of something, we take the easiest thought that comes to mind, and that's usually the shallowest and the sloppiest. Finally, it's going to make you more credible. First of all, if you can express innovative ideas and you can express them clearly, you're certainly going to differentiate yourself from the run-of-the-mill presenter that everybody has seen. But there's 2 added benefits as well. In order to get it to 4 minutes, it's going to force you to prepare and to know your material so well that you can be much more fluent in your expression, and that adds credibility. You're not going to stammer, you're not going to have a ton of filler words, and you're certainly not going to have to rely on your slides as a crutch. Second is the only way that you can really get your idea across in a short time is to be very direct and very plain in your speech, and that also adds to credibility. Now, there is a downside to this. If you give a 4-minute talk, you're not going to be able to give your whole corporate story, you're not going to be able to crack your favorite jokes, and you're certainly not going to be able to pack it with a ton of slides that you so lovingly crafted with those great animations and those beautiful pictures. Seriously though, there probably is a concern that you have right now, and I need to address it. In 4 minutes, you can get the big picture, but the decision probably is still going to hinge on minor details, especially when you have a diverse audience of stakeholders. So the key is that you give a 4-minute big picture executive summary and then use that as a prelude to the actual discussion and deliberation that's going to go on from there. I truly believe that even in presentations, there's an 80-20 rule. So use the 4 minutes to give them the 80% of meaning that they need, and use the rest of that time for those 20% of details. And here's the key part, the details that they need in order to make the right decision. So I urge you to take the 4-minute challenge. If you can do that, I guarantee you that you're going to be much more clear, you're going to be much more creative, and you're going to be much more credible, and your audiences will thank you for it.